Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Had the Full 9 Tails, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down. For school. Naruto groaned as he mentally cursed Yamato's ability to be so active at such ungodly hours of the day. With much difficulty the soon-to-be 9-year-old blonde got out of bed and got ready for his first day of school. Well, it's about time. I thought for a minute I might have to burn your hair again to wake you up, Yamato stated as Naruto walked into the kitchen and sat down. Said blonde shivered at the memory of his brother burning his hair with a low-level fire jutsu. The results had left Naruto with bald patches on his head for weeks, and Kyuubi would roll in laughter for almost a half an hour every night when he went into his subconscious to train with the demon. Why do I have to go to school? You, the Hokage, and I all know it's a waste of time. Can't I just enlist in the shinobi forces now? Naruto asked. You can't enlist now because no shinobi will work with you. The reason you have to go to the academy is so the Hokage and I can find you teammates that won't be so frightened of you that they won't be able to pull off missions. We've been over this before, Yamato replied with an exasperated sigh. I don't see why I need a team. They wouldn't aid me like you go on about, and everybody knows it. Besides, these days I can handle myself in any situation, Naruto argued. Well, that might be well and good, but until you have at least earned the rank of Chunin you won't be doing any solo missions, and even at that they will be sparse until you reach Elite Junin or Anbu, Yamato retorted. Fine, but I'm not responsible for fatal or near-fatal injuries student at the academy receive in the next few years, Naruto replied with a dark smirk growing on his face. Before Naruto could walk out the door, Yamato grabbed Naruto by the hood of his jacket. While killing the adults of this village who attack you I can live with because they deserve it, there will be no senseless killing of your peers and future comrades. If I find you killed any student in cold blood I will handle you personally, Yamato stated, his voice cold as ice. The two stood like that with Yamato holding onto Naruto's hood for a few intense, tension-filled minutes. Then with a quick jerk Naruto pulled his hood free from Yamato's grasp. Like you could, the boy replied as he walked out the door. But because you asked so nicely, I won't kill anybody that doesn't come at me first, brother, Naruto added, his voice dripping with malice so thick that Yamato feared he had just made things worse for the kids at the academy. The killing intent filling the area Naruto occupied as he walked to school made every living creature avoid Naruto like he was the plague. To some it even looked like the buildings were giving the enraged blonde a wide berth. The asshole thinks he can threaten me like that. I will end his existence just like every other fool who has crossed my path. Wait, no, what am I saying? If there are any people I should spare should I decide to render this village a meteor crash zone, it would have to be Yamato, Ichiraku and Ayami. Wait, there's also that girl I met all those years ago, Hinata. I wouldn't kill her if I could help it. With his rage subsided, Naruto's killer intent faded and continued on his path to the ninja academy. Iruka was not having a good day. First, he had split coffee on his new pair of ninja pants. Second, when he arrived to his classroom he found all his papers were in disarray and chewed by rodents. Finally, once he had organized all his paper and checked out his classroom attendance sheet and saw Uzumaki was in his class. Why do I have a feeling this is going to be a rough next few years? Iruka groaned in despair. Iruka got over his melodrama quickly when students started to enter the classroom. The final bell rang and looking around Iruka almost gasped. The room was filled with every major clan heir in the village. Then Iruka had to do a double check, but his eyes weren't deceiving him. The demon was nowhere to be seen. Maybe it realized that it had no right to become a ninja in this village. Better yet, maybe somebody off the demon on its way here, Iruka thought with barely contained glee. Naruto was walking down the halls causally despite the fact the bell had rang. In fact, the blonde was enjoying the walk to class more than he thought he would enjoy actual class, and there was only one reason. The fear in the air was putting him in a great mood. As the blonde down the large halls of the school, every time somebody noticed him they would leave the immediate area as fast as possible, or in some of the weaker cases freeze in their spots trembling in fear. Naruto had to suppress laughing at the expense of the terrified souls. This is great, I haven't even thrown around any killer intent and these weaklings are already cowering away from me. If this how everybody acts, the academy is going to be more fun than I thought. Naruto thought, but being unable to suppress a sadistic grin caused even more people to avoid the ninja in training. Well, everybody is here except Uzumaki, so that leaves us with 19 kids, 5 of which are heir to clans Shino Aburame, Chuji Akamaiki, Hinata Hyuga, Shikumaru Nara, and Ino Yamanaka, while Sasuke Uchiha and Kiba Inuzuka are both next in line for the title of heir. Another 3 students are related to members on the civilian council Sakura Haruno, Tia Kuraudo, and Kanashi Suki. 4 students come from ninja couples while the rest are simply orphans. This has to be one of the royalist classes ever to come to the academy. Iruka thought as he finished mentally taking attendance. Iruka cleared his throat to get the class's attention. Welcome to the ninja. Iruka was cut off as a large column of blood-red flames burst up not 3 feet away from him. It took all his ninja experience not to shout in surprise. When the fire cleared, standing in its wake was a short hood figure. Iruka reached out to tuff the figure, he instantly regretted it. When the figure turned to face him, all Iruka could see were 2 blood-red eyes that made his blood freeze, and in each eye the pupils were vertical slits. Why your N name? Iruka asked as his skin paled to a ghostly white from looking into the eyes that seemed to devour his very soul. The figure turned and faced the class and everybody became dead silent. Naruto Uzumaki. The hooded figure stated before releasing killer intent into the classroom so thick that the Chunin Iruka dropped to his knees while seeing visions of his own gruesome death by the hands of Naruto. Unfortunately, the young student didn't have anywhere near the ability to handle killing intent so intense, so their reactions ranged from passing out, to crying and begging for mercy, or suffocating from the intense pressure, while a few actually soiled themselves. The intent filled the room for a while before it completely faded in an instant. Naruto then proceeded to walk to an empty seat and sit down as Iruka regained his composure and tend to the distressed class. Nice performance, but you should have at least killed somebody to help get the point across solidly. Kyubi asked with a humorous tone. I told Yamato I wouldn't kill in cold blood and I think they got the message. Naruto replied. These pathetic weaklings won't dare to even look at me funny now. A while later, after Iruka had finally returned the students to their normal states, he stood in front of the class and began to talk. Today you all begin your careers as ninja. From this point on you will be trained to handle the harsh realities of the ninja world. This is not a game. The moment you step outside this village, you not only do you represent this village, but there is a real chance you could die before you make it home. My job from this point on is to make sure that doesn't happen. Now everybody outside, I'll be examining what skills everybody has. Iruka walked to the door and motioned for everybody to follow. The students all got up and followed him out the door while it was clear most were avoiding Naruto. In fact, there was only one person who wasn't avoiding Naruto, but the blonde didn't notice that person until they touched him on the shoulder. "And Naruto," Hinata stated to get the blonde's attention. Naruto turned in Hinata's direction and stopped walking. "Hinata?" the blonde questioned. Hinata nodded and Naruto removed his hood to reveal his normally expressionless face was tinged with a look of slight interest. "So we're classmates." "Why yeah, it thought I would never see you again." Hinata replied. "It seems luck is on our side," Naruto said with a shrug. "At least since you're here I won't be alone with all these pathetic excuses for shinobi. They don't all seem to be bad." Hinata replied. Naruto rolled his eyes before putting his hood back on. "Come on, let's go. They left us behind." Without letting the girl could respond, Naruto grabbed her arm and the two were gone in a column of flames. Iruka and the class walked out the doors to a wide clearing surrounded by trees. Just as the last of the class filed out the doors, a column flames erupted right in front of Iruka. The flames cleared, they revealed a hooded Naruto and a blushing Hinata. "Well, now that everybody is there we can begin," Iruka said while glaring at Naruto. The blonde drew out some of Kyubi and sent a red-eyed glare right back, causing Iruka to turn ghostly pale. "Alright, right now I will partner you all up, so I need 2 lines, boys in one and girls in another." With a nod of understanding, the 2 groups split up into 2 lines and Iruka nodded. Iruka then began to inspect everybody's strength by chakra levels. "Alright, I want Naruto to spar against Sasuke. Everybody back up so we're not in the way." Naruto glanced at Sasuke to see the boy was staring him down with a smirk on his face. Naruto rolled his eyes and walked into the clearing with his arms crossed against his chest. Nice get up, loser, Sasuke said, trying to get Naruto riled up. Instead, Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and replied, "Ready." Sasuke, unprepared for his insult not to work, glared at Naruto. "Why did Iruka-sensei put you, some pathetic orphan, against me, an elite Uchiha? Are you going to talk this entire time or fight?" Naruto retorted, starting to lose his patience. Sasuke smirked. "What, if you want to fight, come attack, I won't have to move from this spot to beat you." Naruto just shook his head. Then in an instant he was gone. Sasuke gaped at the speed until something sharp pressed against his throat. Sasuke glanced to see Naruto holding a trench knife in reverse grip against throat. "Well, you didn't move. Next try and put up a fight," Naruto whispered in Sasuke's ear. Naruto then walked back to the end of the line, well aware that everybody was staring at him. Iruka cleared his throat. "Naruto, how about you and I spar this time so the class can actually see a spar? No ninjutsu or genjutsu, just taijutsu. First 1 to 3 points wins. Ready, begin." Iruka, instead of taunting Naruto like Sasuke, charged at him while pulling out 2 kunai. Naruto pulled out his trench knives and stood waiting for Iruka's first strike. Iruka reached Naruto and stabbed straight at the boy's chest. Naruto used the flat of his blade to block before swiping at Iruka's throat with his free knife. Iruka blocked with his other kunai before sending his right knee at Naruto's gut. The blonde raised his left knee to block. Both then jumped back and sized each other up. Naruto then threw one of his knives at Iruka and disappeared. Iruka ducked under the trench knife and spun around and blocked Naruto as he caught the knife and brought both blades down on Iruka's skull. Iruka then sent a kick at Naruto. Naruto jumped up and balanced off the connected blades. Naruto then pushed off and spun before sending an axe kick at Iruka. Iruka dodged but could do nothing as Naruto used his other foot to punt the Chunin into a tree on the other side of the clearing. When Naruto landed, the clearing filled with gasps coming from the other students. Ignoring them, Naruto watched impassively as Iruka got up and nodded, signaling a point. This time Naruto charged at Iruka and attempted a slide tackle on Iruka. Iruka jumped over Naruto and slammed his heel into Naruto's face, only for the boy to elbow Iruka's ankle before he made contact. Iruka was thrown off balance and landed hard on his back. Before the instructor could recover, Naruto was on him. Naruto sent a punch at Iruka's throat, but Iruka deflected it into the ground, mindful of the trench knives Naruto was wearing. Naruto then sent a shot at Iruka's chest, but Iruka caught his wrist and launched him off. Naruto caught himself and landed on his feet, sliding back a couple of feet. Iruka got up slowly and started rubbing his shoulder. Sheesh, he must have a couple of tons on him. I had to use a ridiculous amount of chakra to get him off and he still felt like a building. Iruka glanced at Naruto and charged. The Chunin threw a haymaker at Naruto, who blocked the blow with his wrist breaker and then sent a swipe at Iruka's stomach. Iruka kneed Naruto's arm and then grabbed Naruto's arm and threw him over his shoulder, intent on slamming the boy's back on the ground. Naruto rotated his body in the air and landed on his feet. Then Naruto pulled his arm Iruka was holding back, bringing Iruka with him, and punched Iruka in the chest. Iruka grimaced as he felt some of his ribs crack due to Naruto's trench knife. The two back away from each other and Iruka nodded while holding his chest in pain. "You can submit, nobody will fault you for giving up due to injury," Naruto stated. "No," Iruka replied, shaking his head. "In fact, this is a good lesson. Class, in the ninja world, if you're injured more often or not, your enemy will not let you go, so to simulate that spars here will not end unless somebody reaches 3 points, somebody is knocked unconscious, somebody is fatally hurt, or both are incapable of fighting. Injuries won't happen like this fight because you won't be fighting with weapons like Naruto and I, so let's continue." Naruto nodded and disappeared again. Iruka blocked Naruto's slash at his throat with a kunai but flinched at the pain it caused by upsetting his ribs. Naruto took the opening and kicked Iruka in the chest, and before Iruka could fly off, Naruto grabbed his ankle and launched the Chunin into the ground face first. Naruto didn't even flinch as Iruka yelled out when his ribs were completely broken by the combo. "Somebody take him to the nurse," Naruto ordered as he walked over to the class. Hinata walked over to the blonde. Don't you think that was a little much?" Hinata asked, glancing at two students carefully carrying Iruka to the nurse. "I told him to submit," Naruto replied. Hinata nodded, then tapped Naruto in the shoulder. Huh. Hinata then pointed to a group of kids that had assembled and were walking up to the two. We have a problem, Naruto asked. Yeah, we do. That was pretty low, taking down sensei by striking his hurt ribs, and we're gonna make you pay. A boy with extremely wild brown hair replied. The boy had two triangles under his eyes, and this caused Naruto to nod when he saw them. You're an Inuzuka, right? The boy nodded. I've already killed one and he was a chunin. The boy took a step back but then regained his composure. I heard about that you killed some pathetic lowlife in the clan. His own companion rejected him. I'm second in line for clan head. Beating me will be impossible compared to him, right, Akamaru? Naruto then noticed the small puppy in his jacket. Don't fight me, I will kill you, all of you. Naruto backed his statement with a little killer intent. It wasn't as much as before, but it was still enough to bring the group to their knees. Come on, Hinata, Naruto said while gesturing to a door. Hinata nodded and the two walked back into the school. The moment the door closed, the killing intent faded and the kids all got up. He's dead, the boy growled. All right, class, today is your final exam. If you pass, you will become Genin of Konoha. The first portion of your exam will be a written test. You have 2 hours to finish it. Iruka stated as the class became utterly silent as he spoke. Mizuki, pass out the tests. Mizuki nodded before passing out a test form to everybody. Naruto looked at his test form and sighed. This is pointless. How is being able to pass this insultingly easy test going to prove somebody is capable of being a ninja? If anything, this test should be given to civilian and we should be given a test of our practical ninja skills. True, but stop whining over it and take the test. If I'm stuck in here, my host won't be a baby about trivial things. Kyuubi stated. Naruto just growled and began his test. Halfway through the test, Naruto flipped the page and noticed that the page had shimmered slightly. Rechecking the test, Naruto smirked. I see a genjutsu, clever. Release, Naruto murmured, and the entire test changed. Now that is testing ninja skills, Naruto thought before completing the test. As the blonde looked at the clock and saw there was still 40 minutes left, so following the lead of one Shikamaru Nara, the blonde drifted to sleep. All right, class, everybody come turn in your tests, Iruka said and smirked as he saw a few kids rushing to get in a few last questions. Once all the tests were turned in, Iruka addressed the class and said, all right, there will be an hour break so Mizuki and myself can grade the test. After the break we will have the taijutsu portion of the test. Naruto sighed before looking to Hinata and motioned for her to follow him. Naruto led the girl through the school until the two reached the roof of the academy. Naruto, why your test have AG genjutsu on it? Hinata asked, causing Naruto to pause. Yours didn't, the blonde asked. No, Hinata replied, I even checked W with my B Byakugan after I saw you release 01. I see, Naruto replied, his face blank. Well, we some free time might as well relax. Naruto lay on his back and stared up at the sky. Hinata then lied to the left of him and the two enjoyed the peace and quiet until the door they came in through opened, drawing their attention. Naruto and Hinata looked to see Shino Aburame gazing at him at the door. My apologies, I didn't mean to intrude on your privacy, Shino stated as he turned around to leave, but Naruto's voice stopped him cold. You're not intruding on our privacy, relax. Shino nodded before taking a seat on an exhaust vent. This strange, I've been going to school with you for about 4 years and this is the closest we've actually been. I thought you feared me like everybody else. Naruto stated, breaking the silence. I do not fear you, I just saw no valid reason to talk to you. There was no justification for us conversing. Shino replied. So you don't fear me, why not? I am a monster. Naruto asked. You are not the beast inside of you, you are a person just like I am. Shino answered. I know I'm not the Kyuubi. Anybody with eyes could see that. I said I'm a monster and I enjoy being one. Killing the pathetic villagers when they attack now brings peace to my soul. I cherish their screams, I savor the smell of their fear, so tell me, why aren't you afraid of me? Shino adjusted his shade before replying, I am not a villager nor have you gone out your way to torment me like some, so why should I fear you? Shino replied. Naruto glanced up at Shino before he let out a small chuckle. I like you. Well, this break is almost over, so let's get to class, Naruto said while getting up. He then walked to class before the three walked back to class together. Entering the class, Naruto rolled his eyes as he saw the girls arguing over who would sit next to Sasuke. Naruto walked past and was bumped by one of the girls, resulting in him sliding into the seat next to the lone Uchiha. The room dropped into dead silence as everybody looked to see what would happen. Naruto, move now. Sakura Haruno said, word laced with venom, and she began to release killer intent. Naruto smirked at the killer intent. Really, that's it? That's all the killer intent you could muster? That wouldn't even put a house cat on edge. Let me show you how it's done. Naruto replied before releasing enough killer intent to send the girls in the area to their knees. Now excuse me, I have to go to my seat, Naruto said while walking over to his seat and noticed that Shino was there. Shino and Hinata had left him a spot between the two of them. Well, this is new. It seems you joined our small group, Shino, Naruto replied. Hinata suggested I seat with the two of you. So my joining your group was her doing, Shino explained. Naruto nodded and was about to reply, but he was cut off. More like a band of circus freaks, Kiba called out. The Inuzuka was about to shout out another joke, but the word died in his throat when Naruto released enough killer intent to paralyze everybody in the class in fear. I would watch my words if I were you, Inuzuka. My temper and patience are not to be tested, Naruto said in a low tone. Before any more could be said, Iruka and Mizuki entered the room. Naruto dropped his killer intent and looked to the teachers for instruction. All right, class, everybody to the dojo. We will be having the next portion of our exam there, Iruka said, pointing to the door. The class filed out of the classroom and followed Iruka to the dojo. Once everybody was inside, Iruka walked to the center, turned to the class, and said, all right, the way we will pair you up is so that those closet in skill will fight each other. You all will be graded on your taijutsu skill. Winning the spar will boost your grade, but losing won't affect it. First we will have the top two boys in class, Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. Both boys walked to the center of the dojo and stood on opposite sides of Iruka. The two settled into their own stances before glancing at Iruka for the signal to begin. Iruka raised his hand in the air and dropped it before jumping back to get out the way. Sasuke charged Naruto and punched at his chest, but the blonde dodged the strike by sliding to the left. Sasuke used his momentum and landed on his hands before launching a helicopter kick at Naruto's head. Naruto ducked under the kick, jabbed at the spinning form of the Uchiha. Sasuke took the hit, flipped back using the force of the punch. Given Sasuke no time to recover, Naruto charged him and delivered a devastating punch to the Uchiha's unprotected gut. The blow lifted Sasuke off his feet and Naruto followed up with a roundhouse kick to the back of the Uchiha's head. Sasuke adjusted his head so the kick just skimmed the back of his head. The moment Sasuke's feet touched the ground, he attempted a sweeping kick at Naruto's ankles, but the blonde jumped over the attack and kneed the Uchiha in the face. Sasuke landed hard on his back, rolled to the left just before Naruto's fist came down where his head had been. The floor of the dojo cracked at the force of the blow. Naruto looked at Sasuke with a blank gaze and it sent chills down the boy's spine. Naruto then was in front of Sasuke and hit him with a kick to the face that sent him to wall of the dojo. Sasuke recovered and landed with his 2 feet on the wall before pushing off toward Naruto. But when the Uchiha was within striking range, Naruto was gone before Sasuke had time to think about it. A fist connected with his back, making him stumble forward. As he regained composure, a kick hit him in the stomach. Sasuke doubled over in pain, but that was when the heel of Naruto's foot connected with the back of the lone Uchiha's head. Sasuke's forehead hit the ground and a sharp crack resounded throughout the entire dojo. Iruka went to the boy and turned him over to see his head was gushing blood. Iruka reached into his back pocket and pulled out a cloth. He pressed the cloth to the wound and motioned for Mizuki. Mizuki, take him to a nurse. The second teacher nodded and picked up the boy while keeping pressure on the cloth before exiting room. Naruto, you wear weights, correct? Iruka asked and Naruto nodded. Did you remove them to get the extra speed? Naruto shook his head. No, I was just letting the Uchiha get a sense of security. When assumed he could keep up with me, I increased my speed to finish him off, Naruto replied. Iruka didn't reply but looked to the other kids and said, now the top girls Hinata, Hyuga and Ino Yamanaka, you're next. Just like Naruto and Sasuke, Hinata and Ino walked to the center of the dojo on opposite sides of Iruka. Iruka paused to see if they were ready. Getting a nod from both girls, Iruka gestured for them to start and jump back. Isn't it funny, both our men fought each other, and now we fight, Ino said. Hinata blushed at the thought of Naruto being her man but did not reply. He's not your man, Ino pig. Sakura shouted. Ino ignored her and charged at Hinata. The platinum blonde jumped up to deliver an axe kick to Hinata's shoulder, but Hinata caught her foot and tapped Ino's calf with her pointer and middle fingers. Ino landed and jumped back. Ino then began rubbing her calf, trying to gain feeling back in her calf. Alright, not my smartest idea, Ino mumbled to herself. Raising back to her fighting stance, Ino charged Hinata again. This time Ino led with a feint at Hinata's midsection. The blonde smirked when Hinata fell for it and she struck with a quick jab at Hinata's face. Hinata using her flexibility, Hinata bent over backwards to dodge the strike. The moment her hands hit the ground, Hinata lashed out with a flip kick to Ino's chin. Predicting the move, Ino caught Hinata's ankle. Ino spun Hinata a few times before launching her toward the nearest wall. Hinata crashed into the wall and slid down and made no movement. Aruka sensei, she's down, call it. Ino said as she turned to face the instructor. Aruka just shook his head and stated, winner Hinata Hyuga. What? Ino shouted only to feel 2 fingers on the back of her head. I could have killed you, Ino-san. Hinata murmured, never turn your back on opponents. Hinata walked over to Naruto and Shino and the blonde smirked. You getting a mean streak, you've been hanging around me too much. You didn't even stutter either. Naruto stated, causing Hinata to blush. I didn't realize it. Hinata replied. Naruto sighed but couldn't respond before Aruka got the class's attention again. Next pair will be Shino Aburame and Kanashi Suki. Shino walked up and stood face to face with a tall boy with dark green hair. The boy wore a forest green long-sleeve shirt and navy blue ninja pants. Aruka paused and both boys nodded. Aruka gestured for them to begin and jumped back. Kanashi charged forward and jumped over Shino, then sent a roundhouse kick at Shino's face. Shino, without turning to face his opponent, ducked under the kick and swept Kanashi's legs from under him. Not giving the boy the time to, Shino turned and punched Kanashi in the throat. While the boy was gagging, Shino jumped up and brought both his feet down on Kanashi's chest hard. The boy gasped as the air escaped his lungs. Before Shino could attack again, Aruka stopped him. Alright, I must have misjudged both of your skill levels. This match is over, winner Shino Aburame. Aruka said before releasing Shino. The young Aburame nodded and walked over to Naruto and Hinata. Hey, Aruka sensei can leave after a fight? Naruto asked. Aruka shrugged and nodded. Just be back in the class by once a week and perform the final portion of the exam. Naruto nodded and walked out of the room with Hinata. Right as he reached the door, he turned around and glanced at Shino. You coming, Shino? He asked. Shino didn't reply but walked over to them before 3 left the dojo. You guys want to go get something to eat? Naruto as the trio walked aimlessly around the academy. Eating would be best. The ninjutsu portion of the test is next. Taking that test on empty stomachs would be illogical. Shino replied. Gotcha, a simple yes would have worked too. Naruto murmured. Naruto led the 2 to Ichiraku's ramen stand. Ramen? Shino asked. The best food ever, Naruto replied. The child who has most likely killed more people than some Junin in our village loves ramen. Odd, but his name is Fishcake. Shino thought to himself as the group walked into the ramen stand. Well, if it isn't Naruto and he's got company, what can I get you? A large man asked as the trio sat down. Tuki, I'll have the usual, Naruto replied, then turned to look at Hinata and Shino and Hinata. What would you two like? Oh, 1 vegetable ramen, Hinata replied, a miso ramen. Shino answered. Tuki nodded before turning back to the kitchen to prepare the meals. The trio began to make small talk about the final portion of the exam. Girl in her late teens or early 20s came out the kitchen and smirked. Well, it looks like little Naruto-chan has finally brought some friends. The girl stated with a giggle. Naruto rolled his eyes but gestured to the girl. Hinata, Shino, this is Ayami. Ayami, my friends are Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame. Naruto replied curtly before trying to ignoring Ayami's devious smirk. So Naruto, how long have you known the cutie and Mr. Mysterious? Ayami asked. Her smirk increasing when she saw Hinata's face explode in a vibrant blush, but Ayami inwardly pouted when she saw she got no response from Shino. I've met Hinata the day of that incident. Shino and I are classmates, but today is actually the first we've associated together. Naruto replied flatly. Ayami nodded and was about to say something else, but Tuki's voice cut her off. Ayami, come get their orders. Tuki called from the kitchen. Ayami gave a small huff of disappointment before walking into the kitchen. Moments later she returned with 2 trays. One tray had 2 bowls but the second one was stacked like a pyramid with ramen bowls. Here you go. We have 1 vegetable ramen for Hinata, 1 miso ramen for Shino and 1 of everything for Naruto. Ayami stated as she placed the trays down and began placing the specific bowls in front of everybody. 20 minutes later Hinata and the normally collected Shino were gaping as Naruto finished the last bowl of ramen. Well, let's head back, Naruto stated while getting out his chair. Unable to find their voices, the two just nodded before following him back to class. Alright class, this is the final portion of your exam. Each of you will be called into the next room. In there you will perform a transformation jutsu, a substitution jutsu and a clone jutsu. If you can perform all the jutsu you pass the exam, but if not you fail and will either retake the class next year or you can look into a civilian job in the village. Iruka stated before looking at a clipboard in his hand. Shino Aberame, you're first. Follow me please. Shino nodded before following Iruka out of the classroom. Naruto sighed. Great, I would be the second to last kid in the class. Now I'm going to have to wait for 19 kids to take this stupid test before I go. Naruto glanced at the class and noticed that Shikamaru was asleep. Deciding to follow his lead, the blonde demon container drifted off to sleep. Naruto, it's your turn. Naruto woke up to see Shino sporting a Konoha Hitai on his forehead while Hinata was wearing one around her neck. Naruto nodded before walking out the classroom into the other room that Iruka and Mizuki were administering the test. Iruka looked at Naruto as he entered before gesturing to Mizuki, who was holding assorted throwing weapons. Alright, Mizuki will be throwing the weapons at you. I need you to use the substitution jutsu to dodge at least 3 waves of them. He will throw 5 waves. Nod when you are ready, Iruka stated. Naruto nodded and immediately Mizuki launched 1 handful of kunai at him. Naruto took the hits and fell to the ground. Iruka paled while Mizuki smirked. Iruka ran to the downed Naruto only for him to be engulfed in a cloud of smoke and a chair be left in his place. Impressive Naruto, I didn't expect you to be able to have the illusion of you over the object for so long. Mizuki continued the test, Iruka said just as Naruto walked down from the back of the class. Mizuki, seeing Naruto, threw the shuriken in his other hand at the boy and picked up 2 more handfuls of weapons and throwing one where Naruto was, then launched the other where he assumed Naruto would appear. To his dismay, Naruto used the substitution jutsu to avoid both waves of weapons. With an inward sigh, Mizuki picked up the last handful and chucked them at Naruto. To Iruka's surprise, a gasp of pain emitted from Naruto as the weapons made contact on the boy. Iruka walked over to him and almost gasped when a puff of smoke covered Naruto and revealed Mizuki covered in bruises from the impact of the blunted weapons. Iruka turned to see Naruto standing where Mizuki once was with a smirk on his face. Iruka shook his head and helped Mizuki to a chair before turning to Naruto. Alright, perform a transformation jutsu for me, Naruto, Iruka said. Naruto nodded before his body was engulfed in smoke. When the smoke cleared, Iruka had to do a double take. At first glance, Iruka assumed the boy only transformed into an older version of himself, but upon closer inspection gasped at the sudden realization. Naruto had in fact transformed into the 4th Hokage, but the similarities between the 2 blondes was slightly unnerving. In 5 years, Naruto will look like a carbon copy of Minato-sama, Iruka thought before nodding to Naruto. Alright, finally perform a clone jutsu for me. Naruto nodded before 9 chakra tails shot out from behind the boy. 8 of the tails hit the ground before shifting form. In a moment the 8 tails had formed into Naruto, and the moment they were completely formed they separated from Naruto. Good, care to tell what kind of clones those are? Iruka asked. Naruto shrugged. They don't really have a name, I just attempted to make them one day and it worked. I guess they're demonic clones, the blonde replied. The clones lost their shape and the tails returned to Naruto's body. Once all 8 tails had returned to Naruto, the tails receded back into his body. Naruto Uzumaki, you pass, Iruka stated before handing Naruto his Hitai 8. Naruto took it and tied the cloth around his thigh before walking back to the classroom. Just as Naruto entered the class, Ino walked out. Naruto sat down, noticed Shino had moved to the window. What happened to Shino, Hinata? Naruto asked. Sakura-san crushed an eye insect he was observing. Then she insulted Shino. Instead of retaliating, Shino just walked over the window. Hinata replied. Naruto nodded and walked over to Shino. You want her to hurt, don't you? Naruto asked, but Shino didn't respond. Naruto then noticed Shino's knuckles were white from how tight his fists were clenched. You know there will be opportunities to get her back. Get 'em all back, but will you be strong enough? Naruto added. I will be strong enough, Shino said after a moment of silence. Not with your clan jutsu alone, Naruto murmured to himself, but Shino still heard him. The two walked back to the waiting Hinata just as Ino returned to the class, followed by Iruka and Mizuki. Well, for all of you who passed, congratulations and meet back in the classroom at noon. For all others, I apologize and you can all try again next year. Class is dismissed, Iruka said. Within moments everybody was clearing out the classroom to meet with parents. Naruto looked around and noticed Yamato was nowhere to be found. He's probably on a mission, Naruto thought before walking away to find a place to relax since he didn't feel like being in his apartment right then. After around an hour of wandering, Naruto ended up in the forest behind the Hokage monument near the edge of a waterfall. Naruto sighed before jumping up into a tree and laying on one of its branches. Not even 10 minutes after Naruto got into the tree, a masked figure came jumping on the branches toward him. The figure was holding an enormous scroll and looking over his shoulder. This proved disastrous because the figure didn't see Naruto and crashed into him. Fortunately for Naruto, a tail of chakra deflected the figure and sent him into the waterfall nearby. Naruto looked around trying to figure out what happened when a thud sounded below him. Looking down, Naruto saw the large scroll the person had been carrying laying at the base of the tree. Curiosity getting the better of him, Naruto dropped down to see what the scroll was. The scroll of sealing, wonder what it's doing here, Naruto thought as he looked around to confirm nobody was in the area. Naruto then opened up the scroll. Well, nobody will mind if I take a quick peek. Upon reading the scroll, Naruto grinned and took out some scrolls from his hidden pockets. Naruto began copying all the jutsu on the scroll of sealing. Over 1 hour later and 6 more scrolls, Naruto had copied all the jutsu. Now with that over, let's see what I want to learn first, Naruto said before mixing up his scrolls and picking one randomly. The shadow clone technique and variations, I guess that's as good as any. Naruto placed the rest of scrolls in his pockets before he began working on the jutsu. Naruto, what are you doing? Iruka shouted as he came across Naruto drenched in sweat and the scroll of sealing nearby on the ground. Naruto shrugged and glanced past Iruka's shoulder. You want this, don't you, Mizuki? Naruto stated, gesturing toward the scroll. Iruka turned around to see a soaking wet Mizuki holding a Fuma shuriken in his hand and glaring daggers at Naruto. How did you know, demon? Mizuki asked, venom dripping his voice. Lucky guess, Naruto said, but I can't let you have it despite how much I despise this village, so I'm going to have to kill you. Mizuki smirked and launched the shuriken at Naruto. Naruto didn't even flinch as the Fuma shuriken closed in on him. A foot away from his body, a chakra tail shot out and deflected the projectile. Mizuki glared and charged Naruto, pulling out a fistful of kunai, each with exploding tags attached to them. Mizuki tossed them at Naruto and they all landed at his feet. Naruto, seeing the exploding tags, jumped up to dodge but moved too slow. The explosion engulfed Naruto and Mizuki made to grab for the scroll, only for somebody to grab his wrist. Mizuki looked and inwardly shuddered when his looked into Naruto's now blood-red eyes with slit pupils. Now that wasn't nice. Your attack almost hit me, Naruto growled. Before Mizuki could respond, Naruto kneed him in the chest, launching him skyward and cracking multiple ribs. Mizuki was given no time to recover because Naruto was above almost instantly. The blonde drilled both his heels into Mizuki's chest, effectively shattering his ribs. Mizuki gasped as he hit the ground and coughed out blood. That was pathetic, you weren't even a warm-up. In fact, I was hoping you would make me use some of the jutsu I just learned, Naruto said as pulled out one of his trench knives and began channeling wind chakra into it. Naruto, there's no need to kill him, he can't fight back, Iruka shouted as he landed next Naruto. See, this is why people believe Konoha shinobi are weak. You're all too merciful, Naruto replied. Before Iruka could respond, the distinct sound of flesh being cut echoed throughout the forest. Iruka looked and saw Mizuki's head was currently 2 feet away from the rest of his body. Iruka looked at Naruto to see him calmly putting trench knife away. Now I guess you can handle the rest, Iruka-sensei. I'll see you tomorrow at class. Naruto said before disappearing in a column of flames, leaving a stunned Iruka standing at the base of the tree with Mizuki's body and the scroll of sealing. Alright, we have 6 teams this year and I need 3 more Junin to teach them. Kakashi, Kurenai and Asuma have already volunteered. Sarutobi looked around the room full of Junin and sighed when he saw nobody step up. Fine, I'll choose myself. Hayama, Genma, Raichi, everybody else is dismissed. Just as the rest of the Junin turned to the door, it burst open, revealing a panting Anko. Hokage-sama, I would request to train a genin team. Anko said between breaths. To say Sarutobi was stunned would be an understatement. Anko enjoyed traumatizing people. She was the last person he could see training a genin squad. May I ask why, Anko? The aged Hokage replied. Well, I saw this group of academy students sitting on a roof. At first thought I nothing of it, but then I noticed that it was the village Jinchuriki, the Hyuga princess, and Aburame, so I decided to check out why such a strange group was hanging together. I trailed them all day and their reactions to each other and classmates impressed me. As shinobi was supposed to follow instincts, and something's telling me that those 3 could become the best team this year, maybe better than the Sannin, and I want to train them. Anko replied. Well, this is a new development. The teams were already created, I was just going to assign sensei right now. Well, I guess we'll discuss it right now. Oh, Hayama, you will be teaching Team 1, Genma Team 2, and Raichi you have Team 4. Since this discussion won't affect your teams, you all can leave. Pick them up tomorrow at 1. Sarutobi stated, and the 3 Junin exited the room. Alright, since we'll change the last 3 teams, I will be discussing this with you 4. Originally the teams were going to be Team 7 Sasuke Uchiha the number 1, Shikamaru Nara the dead last, and Hinata Hyuga the best academically taught by Kakashi. Then Naruto Uzumaki, Kiba Inuzuka, and Ino Yamanaka taught by Asuma. They would have been infiltration due to Ino clan jutsu, and Naruto and Kiba top-ranked ability in stealth. Team 10 would have been Shino Aburame, Chuji, and Sakura Haruno taught by Kurenai. They would be our detention team due to Shino and Chuji's clan jutsu, and Sakura has impressive chakra control, so Kurenai could taught her genjutsu for capture purposes. Anko, I would like to hear what teams you have in mind considering. Sarutobi stated. Team 7 could be Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Kiba Inuzuka. They could an assault team under Kakashi. I could teach Team 8 with Naruto Uzumaki, Shino Aburame, and Hinata Hyuga. We could be an assassination team. Anko started, only to be cut off by Kurenai. Anko, your team only has 1 member suited toward assassination missions, and that would be Naruto. Shino's bugs are used more towards subduing enemies, not killing, and I've known Hinata since she was a little girl. She just doesn't have in her to kill. You may have been right a while ago about Hinata, but I saw her today during a spar, and when she won, the look in her eye was that of somebody more than willing to kill. Also, while Shino's clan attacks are meant more to subduing people, they can be lethal, and I can train him in other ways to kill. Then the last team would be Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, and Chuji Akamaiki taught by Asuma. Their father's teamwork was legendary. It would be a shame to let such a naturally cohesive unit go to waste. Anko explained, and Sarutobi nodded. The Hokage thought about the teams Anko suggested for a moment while the Junin waited. Do you have any problems with the teams Anko suggested, Kakashi? Sarutobi asked, looking to the silver-haired Junin who was currently reading a copy of Ika Ika. Kakashi shook his head, and Hiruzen looked to his son Asuma, who shook his head as well. Well, I guess the team will be changed. Anko, you will be teaching Team 8. All of you are dismissed, sensei. Pick up your students at 1. Everybody nodded, exited the room. Why can't things just be simple in this village? Sarutobi wondered as the Junin left. Naruto walked to the academy in deep thought. I wonder who my teammates will be. Hinata and Shino would be the most competent teammates, but with my horrible luck I'll be stuck with the Inuzuka and Haruno. Honestly, whoever allowed that pink-hair banshee to become a ninja should die. In fact, if I ever meet them, I will personally kill them slowly. Naruto continued to ponder the possible team until he walked into the classroom. His thoughts were disturbed when a loud shout sounded from the door. First, Sakura and Ino shouted as they burst through the doorway. Naruto tuned out their argument and walked up to his seat, only to be stopped by Sasuke, who had on his hitai on his forehead over medical gauze. What, Uchiha? Naruto asked in an uninterested tone. You'll pay for this. Sasuke growled while pointing to his forehead, I just want to let you know. Naruto was about to respond but somebody had bumped him while trying to get by the group of fangirls. Within an instant Naruto and Sasuke realized that they would collide into each other in a compromising position and their eyes widened to the size of saucers. Fortunately for Naruto, his surprised state didn't keep him from reacting and the blonde substituted with one of his classmates. The area the two had occupied became engulfed in smoke due to Naruto's jutsu, and when the smoke cleared, everybody in the room gasped, followed by the depressed sighs of Sasuke's fangirls. No, Sakura moaned. The smoke had cleared to show Sasuke and Ino kissing. Ino was enjoying the moment while Sasuke was too stunned to respond. At that moment Iruka entered the room and froze at the sight of Sasuke and Ino. Iruka recovered and coughed to get the attention of class, and he also snapped Ino and Sasuke from their moment. Both were sporting matching blushes and equally dazed expressions. Alright, your teams will be assigned to you today and you will be given your Junin sensei. Team 1, Iruka began, but Naruto turned to Hinata and Shino. You two ready? Naruto asked. Hinata nodded but Shino looked too and gave a questioning glance, and Naruto explained. We're ninja now, that means we'll be given missions to protect, retrieve, kill, and other types of stuff. Are you ready for that? Naruto asked. I believe my skills will be adequate, and if they prove not, then my Junin sensei will aid me in my training so I can improve. Shino replied. Naruto, Iruka shouted. The blonde sighed at his conversation being interrupted. Yes, Naruto replied, turning to face his angered sensei. Pay attention, I'm assigning teams. Iruka ordered, glaring at Naruto. Did you already call me? Naruto asked. Iruka simply shook his head. Then I don't see a problem. Iruka rolled his eyes. Team 7 will be Kiba Inuzuka, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. The moment Iruka said Sasuke, the room exploded in moans of displeasure. Sakura jumped onto her desk and began cheering. To many people's surprise, Ino didn't respond any more than a small sigh. Excuse me. As I was saying, Team 8 will be Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki. The reaction to Team 8's members was by far less volatile than Team 7's. Naruto didn't respond, Hinata smiled delicately, and Shino nodded. Finally, Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Chuji Akamaiki. You're all dismissed for an hour lunch afterwards. Meet back in this classroom and your Junin sensei will pick you up. Iruka stated before walking out the classroom, followed by the new genin. Where do you guys want to eat lunch at? Naruto asked while the trio walked out of the academy. I don't have any preferences. Shino replied while Hinata nodded her head in agreement. Well, let's go to Ichiraku's. Naruto said, even though the group was already heading in that direction. Naruto, you're back and you brought your friends from the yesterday. Ayami said as the fresh genin entered the ramen stand. Naruto nodded while taking a seat, Hinata and Shino on either side of him. Your orders? Ayami asked while taking out a paper and pen from seemingly thin air. The usual, Naruto replied. Vegetable ramen please, Hinata asked softly. Miso ramen, Shino ordered before the group started talking about their team. After eating, the team walked back to class, still discussing their team and individual abilities. Entering the room, they soon found out they were the last team to come back. Wow, what took you losers so long? Kiba shouted. He was now seated with Sasuke and Sakura. Inuzuka, I haven't killed you because I promised my brother I wouldn't murder fellow academy students. What you fail to realize is, Naruto raised his arm and I chakra arm shot toward Kiba and pinned him to a wall. We're no longer academy students, so I can do as I please. Naruto slowly began closing his hand, resulting in the pressure on Kiba slowly tightening around him. Soon the pressure became too tight for Kiba to keep breathing and the young genin started to change color from lack of air. Just everybody thought Naruto was about to squeeze the life out of Kiba. Hinata placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, diverting his attention. Naruto-kun, please don't kill him. She asked, managing to keep a blush off her face from touching him. Naruto stared at her for a moment before turning back to Kiba. The blonde glared at and tightened his grip slightly but ultimately released the Inuzuka. I won't spare your life again, mutt. Naruto spat while he made his way his seat, Shino and Hinata close behind. The moment Naruto sat down, he realized everybody was staring at him. Looks of fear, shock, surprise, and even anger adorned their faces. Naruto glared before flooding the room with killer intent. I see you all failed to realize that. My statement was referring to all of you. I won't spare any of you again, so I suggest you all look away, or I'll make sure I'm the last thing you see before you meet your untimely demises. Naruto growled, then released the killer intent, and instantly people diverted their attention from the angered Jinchuriki. 10 minutes later, Iruka walked into the class smiling brightly at all his students. It's been a pleasure teaching all you. These last 4 years have been a fun experience, and I'm sure you'll become amazing ninja that will do our village proud. I think this is the most promising group of ninjas since. Iruka's speech was cut short when the door burst open and flew off the hinges. Teammate, I am Anko Matarashi, and I want you three at training ground 44 in 5 minutes, and show up late you might as well not show up. Anko shouted before she shunshined out the room. She was just like what Yamato said she would be. The Naruto stated as a grin formed on his face. This should be interesting. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked quietly. You'll see, Naruto replied before grabbing the 2 and the 3 were gone in a column of flames. Well, I'm impressed. Which one of you knows the Shunshin? Anko asked while sitting on a branch. Naruto raised his hand and Anko chuckled. Yamato teach you that? Naruto nodded. Did he tell you about me? Naruto nodded again. Then I'll try to meet your expectations. Anko replied with a smirk. Alright, I guess introductions are in order. My name is Anko Matarashi. I like dango and interrogating, especially the torturing part. I dislike snake bastards and traitors. My dream is to be the head of the torture and interrogation division of Anbu. You're next, blonde, Anko said, pointing a finger to Naruto. The name's Naruto Uzumaki. I like killing, the people close to me, and ramen. I dislike most everything else. My dream? Well, I really don't have one. Naruto replied. A little homicidal, but nevertheless, you're next, princess. Anko said before gesturing to Hinata. My name, Hinata started before being cut off by Anko. The stutter ends here and now. If you stutter, you will be ignored, or I will make you start over. It may be cute to some, but I will only train strong independent kunoichi, which we both know you are. Anko replied, smiling at Hinata. Hinata nodded before taking a breath. My name is Hinata Hyuga. I'll like, Hinata said before being cut off again. Hinata took another breath and started over. My name is Hinata Hyuga. I like my friends, cinnamon rolls, and pressing flowers. I dislike those who look down on others. My dream is to become a strong clan head that unites the 2 houses of my family into one. Hinata finished with a smile. See, was that so hard? Anko asked. You're up, Mysterio. My name is Shino Aberame. I like insects, training, studying insects. I dislike people who kill insects for no valid reasons. My dream is to find and breed unique insects to add to my hive. Shino droned. Alright, now that is out of the way, I have a test. Anko replied, then gestured to the cage section of forest beside her tree. That is the forest of death. If you pass my test, she will be your home away from home, but we won't be using her today. Today your test will be to find and assassinate me without alerting me to your presence until it's too late. Anko said with a smile. Why? Hinata began. What did I tell you? Anko chided. Hinata nodded in understanding. Why would we kill you, Anko-sensei? Hinata asked. Oh, you'll be killing a shadow clone of me. Each of you will take turns. Who wants to go first? Anko asked, and Naruto was the first one to respond. Anko smirked before creating a shadow clone and having it run off. Whenever you're ready. Naruto jumped into the trees to go find the clone, but stopped after traveling only a short distance. Let's see, how am I going to kill her? Something flashy I haven't killed in a while. I got it. Naruto whispered as a smirk grew on his face. Naruto then proceeded to continue his search for the clone, eventually finding her standing on guard in a small clearing. Naruto dropped from the tree, making sure not to be spotted, and began drawing out Kyuubi's chakra. The chakra encased Naruto's arms before he slammed his hands onto the ground. For a moment nothing happened, but then 4 chakra arms shot from out of the ground below Anko. The arms began to slowly wrap themselves around Anko, much like 4 snakes. Anko struggled, but the grip the chakra arms had on her was much too tight. Once all 4 limbs reached her shoulders, they split into 2 before wrapping around Anko's arms, then they stopped as if they were pondering their next move. The Anko clone could only gasp when her body was pulled into the ground down to the neck. Naruto walked into the clearing at the moment the chakra arms returning to his body and finally seeping back into his body. Naruto smirked as he pulled a trench knife and placed the blade right on her head. I guess I pass, Naruto said before channeling chakra into the blade, making his wind chakra cut her in half. Naruto casually walked back to the group and smirked at Anko. I've seen better but nice effort and you pass. Anko replied, I want you go now princess. Hinata as Anko created a clone and sent it off. When Hinata got the okay to go she activated her Byakugan and found her in a clearing a short distance away. Taking off after the clone, Hinata stopped 20 meters behind Anko's clone. How I'm going to kill the clone? All my Juken attacks require close range and she'll find me before I get close enough. She's a Junin so a simple kunai or shuriken wouldn't work. I need set a trap but what would work? I could try a genjutsu but I don't know many. I might as well try my favorite then. Hinata smiled as she thought of her plan. The young heiress began going through series of hand signs before she stopped and whispered, demonic illusion, butterfly evolution. A single butterfly floated into the area around the Anko clone but she ignored it and continued to look for Hinata. Soon another butterfly flew followed by another. With a few minutes the clearing slowly filled with butterflies. Anko realized too late her mistake because she was pulled underground and a lone butterfly landed on her nose. The butterfly flapped eyes wings then, as if that was a signal, the butterflies changed into exploding tags and blew up. Hinata checked the area with her Byakugan before heading back to the clearing. Did Kurenai teach you that? Anko asked. Yes, she has taught me a few. That was one of my favorites. Hinata replied. Ask her if she can keep teaching you them, seeing as these two and I will be heavy ninjutsu. You being able to use genjutsu will be a huge asset. Now we just need a medic and we could be the biggest threat in Konoha. Well, you're up, Shino, Anko said before creating a clone and sending it off. A moment later Shino followed after clone only to stop once he was out of the viewing range of the group. Shino placed his palm on branch and said, secret technique, insect gathering. A web of chakra expelled from Shino's hands and soon multiple insects collected around his hand. Shino nodded before picking up 2 black widow spiders and continued after Anko. Finding Anko he placed them in a tree and ordered them to bite Anko. The spiders traveled to a branch above Anko before dropping onto her head and climbing down to her neck and biting her. Anko brushed one off and grabbed another one. I'm sorry if that's your plan. I handle snakes so I'm immune to simple spider venom. Anko called out. Those bites weren't meant to kill you. Shino's voice called out. What? Anko replied but then noticed hundreds of insects crawling up her legs. She tried to brush them off but this only resulted in the insects latching onto her arms within few more moments she was completely covered and losing energy. As the clone fell to the ground from exhaustion Shino walked up to her and pulled out a kunai. Without pause he stabbed Anko in the forehead. Shino placed his kunai back into his pouch before walking back to the rest of the group. Well, I just happened to come across 3 vicious little killers. This is going to be fun. Meet her at 4 tomorrow morning, Anko said before she left in a leaf shunshin. Tomorrow, Naruto stated, leaving in his fire shunshin. It seems we might need to learn that jutsu or keeping up with our sensei and teammate will be immensely difficult, Shino stated, staring at the spots Naruto and Anko had just been occupying. Hinata nodded in agreement before glancing to her home. I have to go. See you tomorrow, Shino-kun, Hinata said with then walking off. Shino gave a simple wave before walking home as well. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.